Hello, we're just going to do a quick update on the state of the Bitcoin and traditional economy. It's been a while, probably a year or so since I've done any updates. Anyway, I got my heat patches on. Actually, I have one on the front and the back. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. But anyway, these heat patches are going to help me with inflammation and slight muscle and tendon injuries as I work out in the gym. Unfortunately, when you injure yourself lifting, if you have a vigorous exercise, you're probably going to, every once in a while pull some muscles, strain some tendons, something like that. And it just happens, part of the growing process. Anyway, we got a beautiful day out, and I figure it's a good time to do a quick update. So how are you guys doing? I'm having a good time doing my my traditional 5-mile walk, and while at the same time I figure I better do an update of sorts. It looks like the traditional economy is going through some stresses and strains as we work our way through the excesses. The Federal Reserve has printed so much money, as you guys all know, that during the pandemic, and then for wars and certain things, you come out with all of this money, and the latest calculation seems to be around 33 trillion as far as the total budget deficit. And I think there was $100 billion that was calculated as a result of us an attempt to fund the Ukraine war, get some money for Israel, Hamas, that war, defending Taiwan from China. And then there was something else, but I can't remember. But that tab is going to be 100 billion. So that's going to be added on top of the 33 to 34 trillion dollars that we already owe. I think the budget gap, if you will, the different, we don't have enough revenues coming in to cover the budget gap. It's calculated to be about 1.7 trillion, almost $2 trillion. So because of, and again, because rising interest rates are going to affect our ability to pay our debt, and then also because low tax revenues, a lot of small businesses are getting hurt. They can't afford the financing. And consumers don't want to pay high interest costs in relation to buying houses and cars. Even electric vehicle inventories are adding up in China and the United States. So when you take a look at a lack of housing sales, which typically drive the economy, that's a major issue, okay? So retailers, manufacturers, people who run companies, they don't want to spend as much money on CapEx. So of course, those companies, they hoard cash as much as they can, and they put that cash away, or either they just pay dividends or buy back stock, for instance, and then that's not very productive. So you don't have the investment that you need for the future. So that's a problem right there. And the oil sector is consolidating. You're going to have less and less competition, which means that very few firms are going to control a large market share. I think Chevron is doing a deal with Hess, and then Exxon picked up a shale company. So there's going to be a lot of consolidation going on from this point in the oil sector, which means it's not going to be as much competition. It's just going to be a handful of players dictating what the prices are going to be. So look out for issues there. The structural inflation seems like it's here to stay. So prepare your budgets and your spending so that you're ready. So that going forward you can factor in a higher cost for groceries and the other things that you need to get by and protect your family's income. Because when you have structurally high deficits, that means that those treasuries, that 5% on the 10-year, the 2 years, or I think above 5%, 30 years going to soon follow. Most of those are going to be yielding 5%. So our government's going to have to pay out a lot of the GDP is going to be going towards not paying down debt, but just paying some money on the debt. So that's going to be unproductive uses, another unproductive use of capital, in addition to all of the money that's sitting in money market accounts. Why should anybody go out and risk a lot of their income in a uncertain environment? You know, I think we're in our own recessions right now. So you're probably going to be looking at cutting back, and those numbers are evident when it comes to the bankruptcies. The amount of bankruptcies that we see are skyrocketing, a couple of 100%, and small business bankruptcies. So that's going to be putting a little bit of pressure on the economy as well, a lot of pressure rather. So anyway, most people are going to be hunkering down, settling for putting money into money market accounts and CDs. That's very unproductive, because that means companies can't take that money that you normally would use to invest in companies and grow companies. That's not going to happen, okay? So that money is sitting in money market accounts and CDs is going to be very unproductive as far as the economy is concerned. So a lot of the investment that we really should be making over the 10, 20-year period going forward is not going to happen. And then, unfortunately, the unions are making very significant strides in terms of getting something. They're nowhere close to making up for the 30 to 40-year periods where employees didn't get sufficient wages. So when you're 30 or 40 years behind, you can't negotiate high enough. And unfortunately, the UAW and a lot of the other unions are definitely going to make some strides. They're going to extract some wage increases and such, but just at the most inopportune time, because I think the pressure is going to be on companies to further automate. So between automation and the factories, companies like Amazon, and then in automobile manufacturing companies, a lot of those workers are going to be they're hard pressed to make the transition from internal combustion engines over to the electric vehicle sector. Again, as I mentioned before, we're already seeing buildups of inventory of electric vehicles sitting on and piling up on the car lots and dealerships, because in China and the United States, we just have way too much capacity right now, and unfortunately, it's not a very good environment for people to be spending a lot of money. So the good, you know, I understand everybody wants an electric vehicle and they should have one, but when you have an economic environment such as we have here, it's a perfect solution, but at the wrong time. So anyway, those inventories are going to build up. So we have a few things to reckon with. The good news is it looks like Bitcoin is proving to be a safe haven, and companies like BlackRock and other Wall Street players are finally realizing that if their own trading desks and their own revenues aren't coming in as a result of trading stocks and such, because a lot of people are, you know, looking at overpriced and overvalued FANG stocks and such, they have to take a look at Bitcoin. They have to take a look at the idea that this may be a safe haven. And going from and sitting in the Bitcoin sector, we got about 100%, 90% or 80% minimum increase on a year-over-year basis. So that's quite attractive, and I think a lot of people who are outside the Bitcoin space are looking at that and looking at us getting these yields, and they're like, we don't want to be left out. So they're looking at Bitcoin as a safe haven bet, inflation hedge, and a way of keeping your wealth out of the hands of the government, law enforcement, etc., etc. And then with people like Tom Emmer and what's his name, Patrick McHenry, I think Tom Emmer could very well end up in the speaker's seat, the House Speaker's seat. So that could be a big deal, because he's pro-crypto, so is Patrick Henry. And if the Republicans want to put him in office, we'll be happy to have him. But I don't know if they really know what they're doing. Then we're going to be really looking at pretty good times ahead. So anyway, my battery's getting low, and I just want to let you guys know a lot of things are looking up. Stay safe out there, and make sure you understand that these are turbulent times, but there's always opportunity. And if you stay focused, then you should be fine. But keep your eyes and ears open for what's going on, and particularly with Bitcoin and how a number of countries and governments and such are embracing it. And make sure you understand why. There's lots of good books. Go to my website and click on articles and take a look at some of the articles and such that I'm posting on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn as well. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk later.